guys, it's Trina and this is my summer book haul. If you've been following my channel for a while, then you know that most of the books I read I get from the library and I don't buy very many books. I just never have. That's just the type of reader that I am. So I decided it would make the most sense for me and my channel if I did book hauls only seasonally. This entire summer I've been like, yeah, I'll have some books to show. Do you know how many books I've gotten in the past 3 months? 3. So this is a really small haul, but I will show you the books I have out from the library currently at the end. First of all, for the books that I have bought, I bought The Last Star by Yancey, which is the third and final book in the Fifth Wave trilogy. It's a YA alien apocalypse story, and I really enjoyed that first book in that series and knew that I was going to see this series out to the end, which I'm glad that I did. I have already read this one, and I do have a non-spoiler series review up if you want to hear more of my thoughts. This is actually the only book that I have bought all summer long, so that happened. I just don't buy a lot of books. The next 2 books I have to show you are arcs, and the first one is The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. I did not get sent this by the publisher or anything. It was just sent to me by a friend that picked it up from BookCon. I have read it. I am planning to review it soon before the release date, but this one comes out I believe September 20th. This is Mindy's first YA contemporary. It is set in a high school and it's about the everyday sexism that girls in high school encounter and how one of these girls kind of takes things into her own hands and she extracts her own brand of vigilante justice when it comes to the rape culture in this small town. The next book I have gotten this summer is Unblemished by Sara. This is another arc. This one was sent to me by Sara's publisher because I'm friends with Sara. I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna review it, so I got a copy of it for an early review, and this one comes out October 11th, and this is a YA urban fantasy. This is about a young girl in New York that has a birthmark on her face that she thinks is very hideous, and she is struggling with the loss of her mother when she learns that she's actually from a different world. I've read 7 chapters so far, and I think this main character, despite being very self-conscious, she's kind of sassy, so I am really enjoying it so far. So these are the 3 books that I have gotten this summer. Big, huge book haul here. I'm going to show you the books I have currently checked out from my library also, and the first of those is The Good Girls by Shepard. This is the second book in the Perfectionists duology. This series is a YA contemporary mystery about a group of 5 girls that aren't really friends, but they're in a class together and they come up with the perfect plan to murder the most popular guy in school because he has harmed all 5 of them in some way, and one day he turns up dead in the exact way that they planned, except they didn't do it. So these 5 girls that aren't really in the same circle of friends find themselves working together to figure out what on earth happened and are they being framed. The next book I have is Summer Days and Summer Nights, edited by Stephanie Perkins. This is a collection of 12 short stories that have a theme of romance and they're all set during summer. I've read 3 of the stories so far and they have ranged from paranormal, contemporary, and horror, so there is a good mix of genres in here. I'm trying to get this one read before the end of summer, so hopefully I can do that. I also have The Conspiracy of Us by Maggie. I don't know too much about it. I'm not reading the synopsis. All I know is that I have a couple of friends that have read it, and they said it reads a lot like a book version of like National Treasure or the Tomb Raider movies. Those are movies that I enjoyed the mystery clue finding aspect of, so I am definitely intrigued about this one. Next, I have The Shadow Hour by Melissa Gray, which is the sequel to The Girl at Midnight. I really enjoyed that book. I gave it 5 stars. It's kind of underrated, but I did a video on reasons why you should read it if you want to check that video out and learn why that first book is so amazing. So I am really excited for the sequel. This is a story of a human girl who is caught in a war between these 2 different fantasy creatures. There are these human dragon hybrids and human bird hybrids, and they've been locked in this eternal war, and there's supposedly this mythical creature that can end the war, and different characters from different sides of that war actually are working together to find that mythical creature. So it was a very exciting, enjoyable book, and I can't wait to see where the series goes in the sequel. Then I have Red Rising by Pierce Brown, which I know nothing about other than this is a dystopian novel, but there's a lot of hype about it and I feel like I don't need to know anything else. I picked this one up kind of on a whim. I know I have a friend, Rebecca from Why Mermaids, that really highly recommends this book. She loves it. I would love to read it and be able to talk about it with her, but I just keep putting this one off. Then I have Signs of You by Emily France, which is a 2016 debut novel. This is YA I'm not sure of the genre because it's about a girl whose mother has passed away, and then she joins a support group for dealing with grief, but she and other people in that support group start running into their loved ones on the street and in real life, and they're wondering, like, are they just imagining it, or are their loved ones really back? So this is a premise that really intrigues me because I lost my mom at a young age, and when I was so young and not able to cope with that, I very frequently thought I was just gonna like run into my mom someday and that it was all like a joke. That premise sounded so similar to like my childhood delusions that I was like, I kind of want to see what's going on. Then I have Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson, which I checked out from the library hoping to read this before a Morgan Matson book signing in my town, which I ended up not going to because I was feeling really sick that night. But I have heard nothing but good things about this book. I've only ever read one of Morgan Matson's books, not this one, but I figured I would want to check it out, and it sounds like a great summer read. It's YA contemporary about a boy and girl that take a road trip, but I don't know much more about it than that. And the last two books that I have from the library are both part of a series. They are The Heart of Betrayal and The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson, which are books 2 and 3 in the Remnant Chronicles trilogy, which the first book was called The Kiss of Deception. This series is a YA fantasy series about a runaway bride, and the prince that she was promised to marry comes after her, and so does an assassin from a rival kingdom. And I did enjoy The Kiss of Deception, and then I obviously never picked up the second book last year when it came out, so now that the last one is here, I figured I need to catch up on that series. So those are the 3 books I've acquired in the past few months and the 9 library books that I currently have unread and checked out from the library. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought of them, and what was the last book that you purchased or checked out from your library. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the comments. Bye!